Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy here, Manny, once again. Welcome back to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I proceed with the video, like always, guys, I'd appreciate a like in the video. And if you have not subscribed as of yet to the channel, please do so right now. Subscribe down below, and do not forget to turn on your notifications. This way you do not miss any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is Wednesday, May the 9th, 2018. One game in the slate today for the association, another elimination game. Philadelphia is at Boston. Implied totals for this game has Boston favored by 1 point, at least from the latest news I got. 1 point, 102.8 for Philadelphia's 101.8. It should be a hell of a game. The long as Philadelphia continues the battle, I think they'll go all the way to the wire here with Boston. Of course, I'm rooting for the Sixers. As for those of you who have been following me, you know I've been hoping that the Sixers will pull out in the East. They're obviously in elimination mode every single game from this point on out. So hopefully they'll be able to muster up a nice game here today. But Boston is definitely very tough at home. So we'll see what happens. Today, basically, there's only one game in the slate. I'm not going to go through a whole lot of things. Basically, just going to try to just give you some sound advice. The way I look at this, I really don't like this 5-player, lineup type of thing, GPPs. But you know what? I'm a DFS player. I love to play every single day, so I'm going to give it a stab, just like I did the last time. What I would like to do is my webcam is a little banged up. It makes me look fuzzy. I definitely would like to do live. Maybe the next time it's a single game, I'm going to try to get that rectified or not just order a new one. But maybe sometime before the playoffs are over, I would love to do a live stream on YouTube or on the channel. Probably I'm in the East Coast, so it'll probably be about anywhere between 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Maybe do like a half-hour live stream where any of you that follow me and subscribe can actually come on in. I'll let you know obviously the day before that I'm going to go live the next day, and we'll do this 1-game slate 5-pick thing. We'll do it all together as a community. We'll be able to have everybody just put in their take, what their thought process is as far as choosing 5 guys. We know that these slates are going to be very difficult to take down. Obviously you have to be different. Obviously you have to look for 2 or 3 possible stud plays, very offensive-minded players with a lot of opportunity on the floor and a lot of obviously floor time. And then, of course, you're going to need to find 1 or 2 guys that I believe are going to be very low-owned and give you that opportunity to take down a GPP. But chances are, with this being 5 players, a lot of guys are going to be chalky. And on top of that, if somebody wins, there's going to be multiple players winning in the top spot. It's going to be very difficult for someone, let's put it this way, to take the 100K. But I am willing to give it a try. So what I'm going to do today is basically, because of my webcam and I cannot go live as of yet, maybe hopefully for the next time. Today I'm going to do like I've done the last time I did one of these videos for the 5-player lineup. Is I'm going to just try to draw up a couple of lineups real quickly. You guys will have an opportunity to see some of the guys that I'm choosing, that I'm thinking about today, as well as how to put them together in the matchup as far as the lineup is concerned. And you'll be able to make a decision for yourself if you want to play any one of the lineups or multiple lineups or none of the lineups. But I'm here to try to give everybody the best possible advice. All right, so let's just dive right in. We got, obviously, with me, my mindset going into this game with this 108, 107 implied, 108, 102, and 101.8 implied totals. This game is going to go to the wire. We definitely want to focus on some offensive players. I believe, obviously, at least for me, I see Philadelphia has more offensive weapons. How well did they shoot will all depend, because a lot of the players that are their top offensive weapons are players that are pretty streaky, like a J.J. Redick, like a Ilyasova, or even a Bellinelli. These guys got to square up. They really got to be able to see the ball, see the basket very well to make good shots, and to be able to be consistent with their shots and make shots. They have to be those kind of players that are getting rhythm. With that being said, I think the most important thing to look at is offensive players from both sides of the ball, as well as from Philadelphia, as well as Boston, and then obviously try to target those guys that both teams really need to really step up and play at their highest level. And just looking at pretty much like the key players, like for Philadelphia, for instance, you got Embiid and Simmons here at the top. Obviously, those guys are going to be the top choices here. There happen to be two Philly ones, two Philadelphia 76ers. But, you have to look to see how well they have done in this series. I already have looked at that. Embiid is averaging in this series alone, not the playoffs. I'm just focusing in this particular series against Boston. He's averaging 46, while Simmons is averaging 35. Okay, they both are averaging fairly well here. But we're not going to go with price range here. We're going to go with how well they have done offensively. At least that's my mindset here. So if I pretty much have told you guys that I like Philadelphia as far as stacking Embiid and Simmons. Embiid didn't have a great game the last game, even though Philadelphia survived to live another day. Simmons definitely did. Simmons has been playing well. I still do like Embiid, and I still like both of these guys for tonight as top choices. So they're definitely two guys you can consider. When you look down the list of Philadelphia, there's other guys like Saric has been really playing well lately. He's averaging 27 in this series, and he's averagely doing. Let's just go through some of these guys. Obviously, let's go to Saric. Saric in the last two games, I know he's done very well. You see, he started with a 29, then a 27, then he put up a 33.5, then 46.6. So he's definitely just been elevating his game. His minutes have been really consistent, 33 minutes, 34, 34, and then it got elevated to 38 because he was shooting so well in the last game. They need him. They need Saric to not only rebound but to score. And if he can do that and do a couple little dirty things like I always say, be a little scrappy, get those blocks, try to get some steals, which he's capable of doing, you're going to be in a good spot with Saric. I really like him as one of my plays today. Like I said, I'm going to draw up a couple of lineups right here, and you take out of it what you think. Well, if you agree with me or not, it's going to be available to you. I'm willing to do that when it comes to the one game slates like this. We move on for Philadelphia. I'm thinking Philadelphia here as far as offense. McConnell has been doing very well as of late as well. He's been getting some time. So T.J. McConnell is a nice little play at 7,500 here. I already penciled him in, but let's look at what his numbers have looked like. Last game, he just erupted. 38 minutes. He was on fire. They couldn't stop him. If it wasn't for him, they would not have been able to live for today. We'll see how well he plays today. I would think he's going to be in the rotation again, maybe for about 20 plus, maybe not necessarily 38 minutes. But if he gets on fire again, let the guy play. He put up 36, 7, and 22, and 1.2 points in his 4 games. Obviously, his best games have been the last 3, 2 out of the last 3 games in this series. I like McConnell at 7,500, so he's someone definitely we're going to consider in the lineup. Bellinelli's another offensive weapon. He hasn't been as consistent in this series, but he's been getting the minutes, which I always like to see, 24 and 36. And then, of course, he's put up 14 and 20 respectively in the last 2 games. The prior 2 games, he was at 14 and 13. He's on that lower spectrum of guys that I'm thinking of. I will be leaning more towards McConnell for $500 more. Or I will go to I'm not so much on Covington, but Covington he's streaky. He's a guy that can get hot, and he's the same way. He can erupt for 40-somewhat points. Great GPP play, perfect guy to play today, so we'll try to put him in a lineup as well. But as you can see, what I'm trying to get at is that there are some Philadelphia players that have, we'll go here to Ilyasova, that offensively they can just have the crazy GPP night. And that's the kind of player we want here. Ilyasova could be one of those guys too. See, 27-17. I wish the minutes were more consistent, but if he was to shoot the ball well, as you can see here, he got 14.7 rebounds and rebound, they're going to leave him on the floor a little bit longer. And if he's on the floor a little bit longer, maybe, just maybe, he'll get that 20 plus for us. So Ilyasova is definitely a nice play as well. And those are the 6 guys I think I focus mostly on Philadelphia. Embiid, obviously Simmons. You got to think Saric. You have to figure Covington, okay? Redick, Ilyasova, okay? Bellinelli, and T.J. McConnell. So those are 7 guys. So out of those 7, you're going to say to yourself here in a 5-player lineup, should I do a Philly stack for my first lineup? If I'm going to do first things first, make sure you do multiple lineups. If you have the money to throw out here tonight, $7.77 to buy yourself into this GPP, I would say try to do 5 or 6 lineups and just give it a shot. If you have $35, $40 that you're able to, put up for grabs here tonight to possibly land yourself $100K, why not? Give it a shot. But like I say, we just have to be slightly a little different. On the Boston side of the ball, not a whole lot of the guys that I'm looking at But obviously, the top two guys will be Rozier and Al Horford. Steady Al has been steady. We know him. He's going to put up 34, anywhere from 34 to 38 fantasy points pretty much every single night. So if you want a steady play there, you can lock him in right now, right? Then you got Rozier, who is definitely a good GPP play because he could be up and down. He wasn't that good at Philly. As you can see, his numbers went from 54 and 47 to 37 and then 20, pretty much 22 and a half, 23 in the last game. He has struggled. He is getting the minutes, but he was just not shooting as well offensively in the two games at Philly. But he's coming back to Boston, and this is where he's most dangerous at. He is more comfortable for whatever reason. He steps up his game, and I guess it's just the crowd, just being at home. Maybe there's just a great parquet floor in Boston Garden. I have no idea. At the Garden, I just know that this guy plays so much better at home, but he is capable of erupting any given night. I'm hoping as a Philly, I'm in the East Coast. I mean, I'm in New York. I'm rooting for the Sixers in this series. I hope that he doesn't have a great game, but doesn't mean that I'm not going to want to play him on one of my GPPs lineups. So he's definitely someone to consider because he is going back home. So we're going to try to throw him here in a couple of lineups. Jason Tatum is another guy. So you got Horford, Rozier, and then Tatum. Tatum has been pretty steady as well. Tatum has been averaging in this series. Let's see what I got for Tatum here. Tatum has been averaging 32 in this series and pretty much 33 throughout the playoffs. So he's been pretty steady throughout the playoffs. Even if you wanted him at 32 here, I would love to see him explode for 40 plus or 45 plus. I just don't know. I haven't seen him do it. So I would think if I'm doing a Boston stack, I want to throw him in there and give it a shot. But I don't know if he could quite get there. Marcus Smart could possibly get there, 35, 40 plus. Marcus Smart would definitely be a nice play here as well if you're thinking Boston players. He has had a 35 and a 33 two times out of the 4 games. And he's averaging, Mr. Smart is averaging 23 throughout these 4 games, which is in a lower spectrum, but he's had 2 games where he's put up 30 plus. So someone to definitely consider. All right, so I mean, you got Smart. Another guy that I like, I'm not so much on Morris, but Morris is definitely in play 9,500 in this particular tournament. He has played sufficient minutes in the last 2 games. He's averaging pretty much, what do you got, Morris? I have Morris at 21, actually 22.5 over the course of these 4 games. He's been averaging, and he had his best game in the last 2 with 24, almost 25 fantasy points, and then pretty much a 30 spot in the last game. So yeah, he's definitely in play. And then the last guy I'm thinking of, other than Brown and then Mr. Morris, is Mr. Baines. So those are the 5 or 6 guys that you're focusing on Boston. All right, Baines, 18, 23, 8, and 16, and Baines is averaging. I can tell you right now, Mr. Baines averaging 17 in these 4 games. So 17 on the lower spectrum here for 6,500. I mean, he's a fair play, and he's capable of giving you 20 to 25 in that span. If he gets to 17 minutes to about 20 minutes, he can definitely get you there. So he's someone to consider, too, just to save here as a value play. Him, as well as Ilyasova and Bellinelli, will be the lower end of the spectrum here out of these guys that are playing today. So let's just draw up a couple of lineups. I mean, I'm going to start off with focusing doing 2. Let's do 2 Philly stacks. We'll go Embiid, definitely Simmons. We'll see how that looks. Okay, we got 9K left. Let's go with one of their shooting guards. Let's go with one of their guards. Either Redick, McConnell is a lot cheaper. Let's try McConnell. And then we go to the utility, which is anybody. We got 97.50 left. Okay, another Philly. I'm gonna go with Sarge for sure. And that leaves us with 7, and that's perfect. That is perfect to grab. Perfect to grab Mr. Baines. Okay, I already see that. Let's go with Baines. 6,500, and now you got a Philly stack there, right, guys? So yeah, there goes one lineup you can consider if you want to do a Philly stack, a stacking with the Sixers. I would go with these 4 as the first stack, and you still have 500 left over. You're not utilizing all the money. Remember, you don't need to use all your whole budget. Okay, guys. I mean, definitely be different. You know, if you lock in a couple of lineups with the budget being completely used, chances are a number of other people have gotten that as well. So that's something that definitely you have to consider. All right. So yeah, you can leave money. You can leave money there in the bank. Not a big deal. So here, so this first lineup here, you got Embiid, McConnell, Simmons, Sarge, and Baines. Not bad at all. You got 4 offensive weapons. You got 3 guys that could probably just explode at any point in the game between Embiid, Simmons, and Sarge, who work great together. And then you have McConnell, who just has just gone crazy over the last 2 games. And I really truly believe they're going to give him some more time because if again, like I said before earlier, I mean, without him, they would not be in this game 5. So that's one lineup. Let's clear that up. So hopefully you guys jotted those down. Let's go again with let's do another Philly stack, and let's try to get Reddick in here. All right, let's go. We go with the same 2 monsters again. We could switch it up. You can go Ben Simmons as that MVP, and then do Embiid as your center. Then at guard, definitely try to get Reddick in there. Okay, and now I switched it up. And then at forward center, you could go McConnell again as a utility, or we could try to squeeze in. Covington is a little too high, 10,000. Let me just look at this for a moment. If we go Covington, that leaves us with 65. We can go again with Mr. Baines. That will utilize all the money, but chances are somebody's going to have that lineup, okay? Just like I mentioned. So let's not do Covington. Let's leave some money on the table, and let's take a shot with let's take a shot with McConnell in there once again. McConnell, where are you, McConnell? Oops, sorry, my fault. I didn't put him in the utility. All right, McConnell, where are you? We could go McConnell. We could go Jaylen Brown. But we're doing a Philly stack right now, so let's stick with McConnell. You could also go there with Bellinelli if you wanted to. That leaves you with 9. And then with a 9K, you can get Mr. Jaylen Brown, but that will definitely tap you out completely. So there's a chance somebody will have that. So again, you can go McConnell, like I said, or you could take McConnell out of there right now and throw in there Bellinelli, and then throw in there Mr. Brown or Mr. Morris. But if you want to leave money on the table and be a little different, then you would go Brown. If you're willing to take all the cash out and utilize all your funding, then you put in Mr. Morris. And right now you got 2 guys here that more than likely are not going to be highly owned. I don't think Bellinelli is going to be highly owned. Neither will be Mr. Morris. So that's not a bad play right here. So here goes another lineup for you guys: Simmons, Riddick, Embiid, Bellinelli, and Morris. Okay, so something to consider there. All right, let's take out all these guys again. Let's try a Boston stack. I think if you have some money there to throw, you should definitely have a 4-1. You should have a 4 stack, a quad stack, whatever you want to consider it, of Philadelphia. You should definitely do 1 or 2 lineups of Boston quads. So let's try a Boston one. Let's try what we got here. Let's start with. We're gonna start with MVP. We're gonna start with Rozier, who is very explosive, could have an enormous big game for Boston at home. Then we'll get Mr. Horford in there, Mr. Steady Al. Then we'll try to get Tatum in there. And let's get Mr. Brown in there or Mr. Baines. Let's see if you put Baines in there. That leaves us with 13 grand for a guard. And you can go up at guard, and you got Marcus Smart as the top guy. All right, and we're gonna take Baines out of there. Let's go with the guard. Let's see Mr. Smart. That leaves us with 8. So then you got Smart, Horford, Tatum, Rozier. You got pretty much the top guys that will probably be the main scorers for the Celtics tonight. And you give yourself an opportunity with Tatum averaging 32, Smart 22, and Al Horford has been averaging, Al Horford has been averaging 36. Okay, so utility, we got 8 grand left, and then right now then at this point you can throw in McConnell. That's the only lone Philly guy. You can throw in there Bellinelli. You can throw in there Ilyasova. You can make 3 different lineups right now and utilize every one of these Philadelphia, value plays for this slate right here, right now. So in other words, you can throw in there McConnell, and you got $500 still left. You take out McConnell, you can do another lineup, and you throw in there Mr. Bellinelli. Now you have 1,000 left, and now you got another possible GPP play with Bellinelli, who could explode at any moment and have a crazy game. then you could take another risk and you could go, you know what, let's try Ilyasova. I think Ilyasova is going to have a big game or may come out. Right here, you basically are just, giving yourself a shot. We know that these guys more than likely are going to have decent games. It's a matter of, are they going to meet the value? Rozier, for him being MVP here, he would need to put up at least 40 fantasy points or better for this to be a great play, because then you're going to get 1.5 times the points. Marcus Smart, same thing. If you can get 30 to 35 from him, that's fantastic. If you can get the steady Al numbers of 34 plus, you're good there. And if you can get the 32 that Jason Tatum has been averaging in this series, that will work out well too. It'll be great if it's a little up. And all these guys have upside, so there's a possibility with them being at home, they could all erupt. This can end up being a blowout, and all of a sudden you got these guys scoring probably 30 to 35 or better each. Definitely want a lot more from Rozier. I would prefer Rozier to be here and him giving me 40 plus. All right, but then you got Ilyasova. So like I said again, I just gave you a four-man stack here for Boston with 3 different Philadelphia 76ers. You could go with Ilyasova, you could go with Bellinelli, or you can go McConnell. And obviously McConnell being the higher price guy is because he's been playing so well the last few games. But me personally, I'll probably utilize all 3 guys. I plan to mix and match quite a bit. All right, so those are the stacks that I'm looking at for Boston. So there you go. You got right there alone. I just gave you 3 more possible plays. Then we clear this up. Let's try to mix now. My next mindset is, let me get at least 2 to 3 solid studs here. All right. And I will go, definitely, I would say, I'm just going to jump ahead and just say Embiid and Simmons have definitely got to be on my lineup, let's say. We know they're going to be highly owned. Okay, now we're going to have to be different for the last 3. Okay, sorry about that. So you got Simmons, Embiid. All right, so we go here, guard. Let's go a couple Boston guys. We got Bellinelli. All right, so let's go McConnell. No, not McConnell. Let's go Jaylen Brown. Sorry about that. And let's try. We're gonna have to throw in there. I would think it will be good to throw in there. Mr. Baines will be a complete throw off. Then at utility, we got enough money to go with anybody we want that we can pay up and use Smart, and then we have 3 Boston Celtics in there. Or we can come down and take a crazy stab at someone like Covington to have a crazy, ridiculous game, or Riddick, or Marcus Morris. You can do something like that. That's what I'm looking at. Marco Bellinelli. I mean, you can go anywhere right here at this point. I mean, like I said, you can leave money on the table. It's not a problem. I would definitely want you to do that. All right, so you have a choice there. You could go Covington, who's probably going to be very low owned. Definitely will be a good pick here. All right, and that makes it a three players from Philly and 2 from Boston. You could go JJ Redick here, or you can pay up and go with Marcus Smart. I don't think Marcus Smart is going to be high, is going to be chalky, but definitely will be one of those guys that'll be highly owned, maybe in the 30-40% range. I think Covington is obviously a very nice play here with this lineup, and I would think McConnell or Bellinelli would be just as good, or even a Marcus Morris would be. I would say if you want to stay closer to price, these guys would be perfect, Covington or Morris. So I say we throw Covington in there. All right, guys. So, I mean, a little bit of something. I don't want to drag it too long. So I gave you 4 or 5 opportunities there. I think that's the way you got to go, guys. Either go with 3 Philly, 2 Boston, 3 Boston, 2 Philly. Definitely be different. Definitely leave some money on the table. Okay, that's for sure. And if you go with stacks, I showed you a couple of stacks. I think the 4 stack of Philly, those worked out great. And then that Boston stack was fantastic with the 3 different Philadelphia options with Ilyasova, Bellinelli, or Mr. Redick. So you can go that route, or Mr. McConnell, any one of those ways. So those combinations will work. All right, guys. That's pretty much it, man. Good luck tonight. I'm going to work on these lineups for myself. Something quick and easy there, guys. I wish everybody a lot of luck. Drop a like on the video. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe down below. It's right in your right-hand corner of your screen. And that's basically it, man. God bless. Good luck tonight, and we'll see everybody tomorrow, man. Your boy Manny is out.